Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back. This is Aries, the Cosmic Wizard, and this is Cosmic Tarot. This is going to be an Aries daily reading, so eat the meat, spell the bone, take a resonate, leave the rest behind. Alright, Aries. Today is Sunday, November 16th, and this is going to be your daily reading. So, this is a daily reading, but whenever you watch this, this will resonate for you. Alright. Alright. Let's see what's going on. Ooh, Two of Swords in reverse. You could be discovering something here. Something is starting to become clear. There's starting to be some realizations here, but you're still avoiding something. Eight of Swords. Okay. Yeah. What you're not seeing is there is a limited belief that you possess with the Two of Swords and the Eight of Swords. It's around betrayal, or it could be around abandonment here. You could have some unresolved abandonment issues or betrayal issues. I'm only saying that because 2 swords, 8 swords is 10 swords. 10 of swords is like betrayal. And with the 8 of swords here, it's like definitely like limited beliefs. You've been trying to process something for a very long time. The 6 of swords and this 10 of cups here in reverse. You could have had a past lover that was or a family member here who you feel like neglected you, abandoned you, walked out on you. This could be unresolved childhood trauma from maybe you're not on the best of terms with a parent or a really significant like parental figure, like a grandfather or a grandmother, aunt, uncle, someone who would have a parental like influence over you, if that makes sense. I don't mean parental like you mean like an adult when you were a kid. Could have discarded you, rejected you, abandoned you, some sense of hurt. Deep hurt. You could have, and so now you kind of carry a little bit of that. Like, I'm not saying like you haven't healed through all of this, and like I don't want to like re-trigger anybody, but there is a group of us here, let's be honest, who have maybe some underlining, lingering abandonment and traumas from childhood here, especially if you are in the queer LGBTQ plus community. There's always that, growing up feeling like you're going to be rejected, feeling like you're going to be abandoned, mindset that a lot of us had as kids. So when you grow up, you kind of like, you haven't really processed all of that shit. And I'm sure everyone feels like that in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not everyone. Hopefully everyone doesn't feel like that, But I know definitely in queer communities, there is that, especially if you're like a 90s or 80s or earlier baby, there was not a lot of acceptance for that kind of lifestyle back then. So a lot of people could carry still some of those fear of abandonment, rejection, and it can show up in relationships as well. So just take that in mind, let it resonate. Or this could help you understand people who you may not. For my allies, this could help you understand how maybe some of like your queer friends and coworkers and people kind of like respond to certain things that maybe you don't necessarily respond to, or you may not see. Maybe you've had a lot of experience dealing with like this is for someone who has been dealing with a lot of people in like the queer communities and stuff. I don't really talk a lot about this kind of stuff on my channel because it's just not really part of the tarot, but I have to say this especially. You're starting to understand maybe like your friend a little bit. You're going to start to see them a little differently and why they do what they do, or why they may discard or feel disconnected here from you sometimes. It's a protective defense mechanism discarding people before they discard you. It's a way of like the ego trying to, yeah. Someone's doing a lot of research on this in particular here, and not just like this, but like topics of like attachment styles, things of that nature. You know, you have the avoidance, you have the anxious, which are like, that's like the, oh my god, that's like the narcissist empath of like attachment styles, where you have the avoidance, who are basically the runners, and they just constantly run from anything that's like deep and emotional, because like that sense of abandonment just scares them, and that sense of vulnerability is just like too much. You know, they could have grew up in a house with a bunch of, you know, anxious people or other avoidance. But, you know, the anxious people, they definitely grew up with a house full of avoidance, and they just are just, or dismissives, and they're just trying to really recreate this, like, this, I'm gonna get my mom's and my father's affection and love. Like, someone's gonna love me. And, or they're just super heavily, like, and I don't want to be rude, but, you know, mentally ill people can be very, and just in my experience, and I don't know if I'm considered mentally ill or mentally unwell. I like mentally unwell. Mentally ill is a little too harsh. Calling someone mentally ill is like, I don't know, it's just, it seems like a bit much. Doesn't seem like calling someone mentally ill is going to really help their mental health or wealth. Anyway, but someone here is really diving into these topics here. And so like, you could be an anxious or an avoidant, or hopefully you all have a secure attachment. But some people here, you know, if you are someone who tends to run, you know, you could be an avoidant. You could be trying to avoid your feelings, and when things get too deep, I feel like there's someone here who's starting to recognize the patterns and behaviors of their responses and also those around them. With the Two of Swords in reverse, they could still be, that could be an avoidant. That could be avoidance. And then the Eight of Swords is definitely someone who is just a denial, avoidant, anxious, not wanting to see the truth, chasing after people that clearly don't want them just because they want to protect their ego. You know, oh, they had to have loved me. They had to. It's like maybe they didn't. You know, it's just, yeah. So I feel like there's a lot of investment here in this Aries collective reading today, where we're starting to really look into those, oh fuck, Six of Swords in reverse. Okay, there's a lot of shit in our minds. 16, 17, so this is like tower like energy, destruction of paradigms, things that no longer serve us, these thinking patterns here. So I see you revisiting the past here in your mind, probably for clarity purposes here. You really want to understand your psyche at this moment here. There's a lot of swords on, like they're all swords. We're really in our head right now. Literally, this is all swords. The Two of Swords, the Eight of Swords, the Page of Swords, and the Six of Swords. What's that? 10. Let's say the page is 1, so that's 11. 17. Hopes of discovering. Who you are. Ace of Pentacles and the Empress at the bottom of the deck. Self-mastery here. Self-soothing. Pouring into oneself. Protecting oneself here. King of Pentacles and the Empress here. Okay. Someone is looking for... I feel like you're going through this, or you're doing these things here, or you're being called to do this here by Spirit in order to bring in more love, self-love. You surrender, you do the hard work here. The Queen of Wands. King of Swords and the Queen of Wands here. The Temperance, the Hangman in reverse, and the Lovers. You know, your healing journey is going to be very transformative. This is Seven of Swords. Wow. You know, I think it's just really crazy how people trying to work on themselves, it just blows my mind how people trying to just genuinely improve their circumstances in life, improve their feelings about themselves, just seem to really piss other people off. Like, all I keep seeing in these readings, like, yes, there are people who go up for you, there are people who support you and love you, but I see just like these older, it's giving relatives, honestly. It's giving relatives. It is. They're just unsupportive of all of this. Like, I think there's just a bunch of generational disconnects nowadays because of technology and its advancement being so prolific and fast-paced. You know, things that we thought were going to be here forever aren't here anymore. Things that we thought were going to be fads are gone. You know, I mean, who would have ever thought that streaming would have taken off? Like, who would have ever, like, there's no DVD players, there's no Blu-ray players, there's no everything is digital now. You know, no one goes to the movies. You know, a movie comes in the theater, it's like 4 days, and then it's on HBO Max. I remember going to go see that freaking Predators movie, Romulus, in the theaters last year. That motherfucker's already on FX, on cable. Like, I'm just like, damn. I mean, no, yeah, it was last year, but it seemed like it used to at least take like 2 or 3 years before you would see a movie on like cable TV. I don't know. I'm in my 30s, and I remember dial-up. I remember, you know, I mean, we grew up poor, so we didn't even have a computer until like middle school. So that was like, I mean, my grandma on my dad's side, she had a computer. My dad had a computer, but like at my mom's house, we didn't have a computer. Not with internet. Then we had dial-up. Then you had the satellite shit. Now you got the high speed. And I remember it used to take all day to download a song off of LimeWire. Like, I used to have my list ready. Like on the weekends, I'd be at school and I'd have a list of all the songs I wanted to download when I go to my grandma's house that weekend on LimeWire. Because, I don't know, my grandma just had a computer in her house. She didn't even know how to use it, but she had it for when we would come over. Because my dad would come pick us up on the weekends. Well, he'd pick me up. And, I had one of them daddies, you know, they pick you up and then they take you to your grandma's house and then they go around the corner and hang out with their friends and then bring you like some Chinese food or whatever you want to eat. So that's what I would do a lot of times. And it would be me and my stepsister and sometimes my brother, my dad's side over there with me. And I would just have a list of songs that I wanted to download that weekend on my MP3 player that could hold like, I remember I was so happy when my MP3 player was like the 120 megabytes or whatever, and it could hold like 20 songs. What? Y'all have no idea. These kids today will never know what it's like. Never know what it's like to have to pick between like, those were the days, nostalgia. But yeah, there's just a generational gap here, and like a lot of older people just seem to really, older family members could just be people in your life who are, I feel like, you know, this is kind of, I know with me in particular, and maybe you, if you are like a millennial, zillennial, whatever, you know, trying to have these conversations with your parents about like attachment styles and like how you formed yours is based off how they like nurtured and cared for you as a kid. You know, sometimes they start to feel like you're attacking them even though you're not. So, which is also a trauma response and avoidant thing right there. Giving you more proof that they probably are avoidance. But anyway, so, you know, you start to try to like make them feel better about you not attacking them, which makes you lose the point of you being able to stand up for yourself and reclaim your own power. But I do see you are doing a lot of this introspection type. Ooh, I like this though, because what it's doing is it's leading you to this manifestation here with the Magician card. So you're just doing a lot of research here to call in your powers. You're going back to the past to rummage through a bunch of memories. With the swords here, this is feeling like this is all mental. This isn't like actual. You probably won't. This isn't like actual, like in real time. This is like in the mental mind, like in the space. Like you're going back and reminiscing over situations, different events from your childhood, from the past here, that shaped you, and you're using that, reclaiming the powers. You're, looking at it from a different angle now. Almost, I kept seeing the Hangman in the bottom of the deck here with the Death card. So you're transforming something. I think you're reclaiming your inner child. The Eight of Swords and the Two of Swords is like, I think this could be your inner child, because in the Eight of Swords it talks about belief systems and your inner child, and like, a lot of our strong beliefs are formed in our formative childhood years, and they kind of like maybe they take more of a concrete, like you get developed a language for it later in life, but like let's say a little kid, sees their mom getting, hurt by a male that's not her father. Like, let's say her mom's boyfriend or something. So this child may not have the language for what their belief systems are, that, all men are, bad people and they will make me feel unsafe. So this person may develop this language for that feeling later in life, but that came from that experience when they were little. Does that make, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, they didn't have the language for it at 4, but that experience shaped something that turned into be that. I hope I'm making sense here. Okay, I'm trying to blend tarot and psychology. Why? Because why not? Okay. It's all what you make it. Justice here in reverse and the Four of Pentacles. Someone is strongly, this could be you. You have a very strong position here towards something here that is, you feel I want to be very careful with my words, because I like to make sure that I use my words properly. And no, not intention. Okay, I wanted to make sure I use this word properly, because I was definitely thinking it, but I wasn't sure. Indignant. You definitely feel indignant towards something from your childhood. Like, you cannot fully forgive or heal because of this situation. What is the situation? Oh, Four of Cups in reverse. Okay. What I'm getting is the Four of Cups in reverse with the Queen of Cups and the Seven of Cups. So this is around someone who this is giving mommy issues. I'm just saying, because the Queen of Cups and the Four of Cups. This is a mother who couldn't maybe show affection, or this is someone who was overly, like, either your mother was overly affectionate and like she just completely either like she just poured all of her weight of her problems onto you. Like, you could have been parentified. Maybe your mother was just overly dependent on you emotionally, and it just really took a toll on you. Like, you really felt like you did more than what you should have done as a child, and it just seemed unfair. Or like maybe you've had to parentify your own parents. Or this could be the complete opposite for some of you. Maybe you felt as if, like I said, this is kind of the same. You know, your parents lacked the ability to like really foster healthy emotional relationships with you. Either they were too affectionate, like overbearing, or there was just some disconnect where, to me, this is giving more of the overbearing with the Four of Cups in reverse and the Seven of Cups. It's like they just hyper focused on you, hyper like, you know, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, do that. And it's like your life was crafted to be something you had no part of. Like, you weren't a part of like how your life should be mapped out. Or someone who just completely didn't care, or was absent-minded, confused a lot, unsure. But I mean, this is what I got, okay? There's a lot of emotions here, because these are the only cups. So your childhood was one that had a lot of emotional instability, and either it was, you know, too much, or not enough, or it was sometimes a little bit of both. Like, sometimes it was really good, and like it was like smothering, and then it was just like cold, distant, disconnected, like I don't know who you are. And you really have held on to this pain and this whatever it is. And it doesn't necessarily have to be your mom. It could be any female parental, like I said, any feminine parental like energy. So, you know, moms, aunties, grandmas, you know, older sisters, teachers maybe, you know, just any type of motherly, just always pointing out like your flaws, or completely ignoring you if you didn't do what they wanted. It could just get very... This is just how this person was, because they didn't come out in like the reverse. It was just like their behaviors deeply impacted you. So that in itself creates another layer of confusion, right? Because it's not like this is a tyrannical evil bitch that's like popping you in the face. This is someone who just, you know, they're evil because they believe that they are solely right, and like only their way is the correct way. And that in itself kind of leads towards like a very limited Two of Swords way of looking at the world, either black and white. I feel like, you know, the Seven of Swords keeps showing up. Aries, you take your power back when you no longer seek approval, validation, acceptance, or even like negative traits from these people. Like when these people just completely hold no power over you, the moon in reverse, yeah. Man, this is good. You have been doing a lot of this inner healing of like old thinking patterns, ways of being. This is not the ring I thought I was going to get. So, yeah, this is fairly early with the Page of Cups in reverse. You've had some pretty unhealthy relationship attachment styles that you've been working through. And I don't mean to like, you know, speak ill or speak negatively. I speak truthfully is what I see as I see it. That's the Seven of Swords. This little bitch has just been hanging out with us all weekend. The Seven of Swords is here. And look how the Seven of Swords and the Page of Swords. Look at this. Very kind of like... What's with this deception here? Who are we deceiving? Self-deception. The Seven of Swords is always a card that makes me second guess myself. Maybe that's what's going on here. You could be second guessing yourself and challenging your own thoughts here. Seven of Swords to me also sometimes I feel like there's parts of me within me that isn't agreeing with everything that I'm saying. So there could be parts of you within you that are disagreeing because of these Eight of Swords, because of these beliefs, because of these deep-seated beliefs. And so with the Page of Swords, you're still trying to unravel all of that. Wow. Seven of Swords. What is this all about? I'm going to clarify that here at the end of the reading. Because, you know, I think sometimes the Seven of Swords is like the elephant in the room. It could be it's like, it's what we're all trying to not say and see, what we're not trying to focus on. The Seven of Swords, you know, the deception here, you know what? Five of Wands in reverse and the Six of Swords in reverse here. So there's definitely some... Wow. Is that what this is focusing on? Avoidance still? Trying to find someone to blame. Not focus on the future. The Six of Swords and the Five of Wands. Okay, I just need one more card for the Magician. The Knight of Pentacles. Okay. So I see slow and steady growth here with your business, with whatever it is that you are bringing into this world, manifesting. It's coming in. It's just, oh, okay, Candle, you tell me what you think. It's coming in slowly. Candle says it's coming in slowly. The Seven of Swords here. I'm going to go grab my book real quick. Give me 1 second. So this is a really good book. And I keep seeing the Seven of Swords. And I love this book because it gives me really clear definitions here. Okay, so Seven of Swords, uncertainty, illusion, impetuousness, stealth, cunning, strategy. It could be a tricky situation in which things are not completely clear. You may be formulating a plan but don't have all the information you need. So sometimes I think the pictures. Okay, so what I'm getting from this card is, thank you. This book is really good, by the way. Okay, so what I'm getting from this card with this Page of Swords is there is a tactful way that you are going about something here in regards to a relationship that you are heading towards. You're using tactics, you're planting seeds here, or you're planting ideas with these two swords that you're leaving behind. So you're revisiting the past to extract information to really bring to the forefront like a lot of wisdom and a lot of experiences that you have had from your past, and how to create more successful relationships in the future and the present, presently, most present. Milk steak, something like that. Okay, that was a lot. So you're doing like some fucking shadow work psychology on yourself, like some. I mean, a lot of you could be. If you haven't figured out your attachment style, you should do that, because that will definitely gain some insight. I have been doing a lot of soul searching, a lot of self-soothing, self-healing. Some books that I would recommend. I'm getting into this book. This is a really good one. The Highly Sensitive Person. I just started it, but it's just filled with some different stories of like this. I think she's a psychologist, and she kind of just goes through. Or she's a doctor. Yeah, she's a clinical psychologist. Okay, yeah. I'm only like this far in, so I haven't really got into it yet. But it's just really good. I mean, most of it's just stories about different people, and then there is some, there's some quizzes in here. There's all kinds of stuff. It's a pretty good book. It was recommended when I went to treatment. Back in 2022. All right, let's do some Moonology Oracle cards. But just to recap, because this one is deep, and I like the fact that this is a love reading, but it's about you, and it's not about the other person. The other person is, you know what I mean? Like, we're not worried about the other person. We're worried about developing a healthy mental mind for ourselves, because sometimes I feel like our minds are just filled with landmines of just, don't want to go in that spot, don't want to go back there, don't want to think about fourth grade, does not think about the fourth grade until you're like, okay, let's talk about the fourth grade. You know what I mean? And you're just, the Seven of Swords to me, this card, this is my trigger card, okay? This card is going to be my trigger card, because when I see this card, it triggers me, because it makes me feel uneasy. Because for a lot of my life, I've been around a bunch of Seven of Swords people. People who are very crafty and cunning, and I've learned how to sometimes have to manipulate situations in order to have safety. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a kid and you grew up around a bunch of unsafe people, sometimes you have to learn how to outsmart them to get what you want, so your needs are met, without making it seem like you're trying to meet your needs. Like, you know what I mean? Because just some people like to play mind games, even with children, and it baffles me. Your hard work is paying off, so keep doing what you're doing. This introspective journey that you are on looks good on you. Keep doing it. It's hard work. New moon in Capricorn, so by, let's see, that could be January, probably in January, sometime in January, around the new year. I think a lot of you, I feel like I got like my New Year's resolution early because I started working out consistently again, and I just want to like just keep it going. A personal issue reaches resolution. Full moon in Cancer. Oh, that's the same time. So the full moon in Cancer will be sometime in. Excuse me. That should be sometime in January as well, because Cancer and Capricorn are the 4th and the 10th house, so they are the opposites of each other, right? Let me see. Where is... Yeah. So the full moon in Cancer should be during the new moon in Capricorn time. Full moon in Cancer, 2026. What do you mean there's no full moon? Oh, is it like in the end of December then? It's probably the end of December then. That makes sense. Okay, maybe not. Y'all gonna piss me off. It's okay. Hi, how y'all doing today? Y'all doing good? Awesome. Okay. January 3rd. Jesus Christ. Sorry. Not you, Jesus. I know you didn't do anything. Took me that long. Like, January 3rd. Okay. Like I said. Yeah, and the new moon in Capricorn is going to be January 18th. So in January is going to be a good time of the year for us. Yeah. So that's good. I like that. What a great way to start your year. Your hard work paying off. You're reaching your personal goals. Or your issues at least have a resolution. That could be good or bad, I guess. But let's go for the good here. New moon eclipse. Expect powerful change. So you're going to have a lot of changes coming towards you in the future. Or the near present. Because the future doesn't exist. It's all an illusion. And lastly, but not leastly, meditate and contemplate. New moon in Pisces. Okay, so this is going to be during February, March. Let's see, new moon in Pisces is March 19th. So, yeah. So, you're going to have some decisions there that you need to meditate and contemplate on. Probably some opportunities that you manifested. Do I want to stay in this new position, or do I want to go try and do something else? Do I want to stay in this relationship, or do I want to go try something else? Now that I've healed my core wounds from childhood and these beliefs that shaped who I am today, I now know, now I'm no longer, at odds and at war with myself. I'm no longer trying to recreate past traumas to heal from them. I've already done that. I don't need to keep, dating the same kind of person or accepting the same kind of job, because I realized I'm worth so much more. I'm more than just my, ethnicity, my appearance, my gender, my orientation, my whatever I am. You are reclaiming things that have happened to you that you have pushed away from a very long time. And when you reclaim your power, you regain a sense of you that you didn't even know you were missing. And you're going to find yourself just being in this magician energy here. And then slowly but surely, with this Knight of Pentacles here, things are going to start to change around you. And the Knight of Pentacles is the most stable, so we know that it's here to last. This is, this isn't like going on Ozempic and losing 60 pounds in 4 months. This is, now you are someone who you are a vegetarian now. You eat healthier now. You are someone who for life is working out, running, you know, being more nutritious. I can't say the word. I can't say nutritious. Yeah. You eat more nutritious foods. You take up other hobbies that just get you out of the house. That's what I see for you, Aries. Like, you're starting to really do some... I was talking to someone last night about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So you have your physiological needs, which is like safety, shelter, you know, food, water, sleep. And then you have your security, like money, you know, security, like clothing, money, stuff like that. Then you have your belonging, psychological, like your belonging and stuff. And so, like, you know, you're somewhere around 3 or 4, which is a lot of people don't get there. But you're pretty stable. You're pretty darn tootin' stable, okay? You're not worried about getting put out on the streets tomorrow. You ain't worried about, you know, your car getting repossessed. You're not worried about, you know, you're doing okay. You're doing okay, all right? I don't want you to be too hard on yourself. You got this. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I know this was a long reading. This is a little different than most tarot readings I do, honestly. But this is just the message that I got, and this is just the message I went with. So, you know, I like to be versatile and like to switch it up. I like to, you know, change things up. So, you know, let me know what you thought. Let me know what you like. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. And until next time, I will see you all later. I love you guys. Drink water, be safe, and peace.